Sit down. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? Guess what? I'm no longer in wintry Virginia, snowy Virginia. Duncan and I are chilling like a villain. We just got back from our walk. That's why he's panting. And why is he panting? Because it's hot here. It's hot in comparison. Now, it wasn't hot when we first got here. And when you're like, well, where's here, Amy? Here. Let me show you. Palm trees. Any idea? Palm trees. Yeah, I'm in sunny Florida. And I'll be talking to you from here for the next 2 months or so. So grab your beverage. Oh, I haven't even grabbed my beverage. I think I'm going to go grab a glass of water for right now. And join me. How is your Monday starting? How is it going? How is your weekend? Why don't you go through your emojis and choose an emoji on how your day is starting? Or if you're seeing this in the evening on a replay, whenever you're seeing this, let me know how you're doing in this moment. Like maybe you're a pile of poop. Maybe it's not going well. Maybe it's cloudy. Maybe it's sunny. Maybe it's raining. Maybe it's partly cloudy, partly sunny. Let me know. Drop an emoji below. Let me know how you're feeling today. Today I am actually feeling pretty sunny because I am super grateful to be able to be here. Now, it has been chilly. We got here, I think I told you I got here Thursday. It's been chilly, like sweatshirt and like jacket kind of chilly. Not like snowing 15 degrees chilly, but not warm like it is today. It's warm here today. Today is shorts and a tank top weather for me. And I am super grateful. I'm also super grateful. I don't know if you can see. Let's see. Can you see the pretty purple flowers, pinky purple flowers? Yeah, they're everywhere. Oh my God. It just makes me smile. So I'm doing totally and completely sunny today. 2 thumbs up, amazing today. And I hope that I can share some of that positivity, that sunniness with you this morning. If you need some, I'm here to lend it. If you have some, share it with others who are watching and let me know how you're doing. Like I said, grab an emoji and let me know how you are. Me, totally sunny. When you come on, I can see someone came on. I can't see who it is, but whoever it is, good morning. Or maybe it's your afternoon if you're over in Europe. Oh, can you hear that? That is a garbage truck. I wanted to talk a little bit this morning about stories. Oh my good golly, Miss Molly. I was reminded of a conversation I had yesterday with somebody, and I've had multiple conversations with people about being stuck. Anybody ever feel stuck? Or have you felt stuck where you can't, it's like Groundhog friggin' day and you can't seem to get, or like a hamster wheel and you just keep running and not getting anywhere? Anybody else feel stuck? Yeah. Oh my good golly, Miss Molly. I've been there on many occasions in many areas of my life. And now I help others get unstuck. And I was having this conversation with someone and it reminded me of a conversation I had years ago with a young person, probably in like their 20s. She in her 20s, probably in her early 20s. And I'll never forget, we were having this conversation, she says, man, I've grown so much, don't you think? And I think most people would have said, oh yes, you absolutely have. And I looked her straight in the face and I said, no. Tell me how you've grown. How have you changed? How has your life changed any different than it was last year? And she goes, well, I've been working, I've been trying, I've been going, and I was like, and how has that worked? And where are you any different? You're not. And the reason why she wasn't is the reason why the person that I spoke with yesterday is stuck, and the reason that I have been stuck. There was a time in my life, many times, where I would be stuck, either financially or relationships. And it is the stories that I consistently tell myself. It is the thoughts that I am thinking that create the stories and the beliefs that I believe that created my reality, and support that reality and perpetuate that reality every stinking day that I get up thinking, believing, and looking for validation of those thoughts and beliefs. And I'll give you an example. On the first occasion, this individual was stuck. She had not progressed. She told herself she couldn't afford it. A lot of it has to do with money wounds, money beliefs, money stories that we tell ourselves. She didn't have the money. She was doing the best she could. And in a lot of cases, that is absolutely true. Absolutely true for a lot of people. They are doing the best they can. But there are some of us that are telling ourselves that when we can really do a whole lot more, if we're being honest, right? We just don't want to. We don't want to change our lifestyle. We want something, but we don't want the work to get there, right? I didn't want the work to get there. I didn't want to have to change. I didn't want to have to move. I didn't want to have to not go out for dinner. I didn't want to have to not have highlights in, oh my gosh, not have highlights in my hair. Like, I look back and I think, oh, good golly, the things that I thought, like, what difference does it make if I have highlights in my hair? If my hair is darker, does it really matter? And if I didn't like it, could I not find ways to get it done less expensively? Yeah, which I did. And not only did I discover ways to live my life, just do it for less, but I actually taught others. And I created a TV show called Stretching Your Dollar that aired, over a decade ago, almost two probably at this point, teaching others how to stretch their dollar and live their life for less. Because we constantly don't want to change the way we live our lives, right? We don't want to move. We don't want to not have our hair done. We don't want to not get our nails done. We don't want to. And yet we want to have money in the bank, and yet we want to lower our stress, and yet I wanted to be secure in retirement, and yet I wanted to take a vacation and not put it all on credit, and yet I wanted to not stress about how I was going to put food on the table, and yet I wanted all these things, but I wasn't willing to let go of the things that I had that I was going to require me to change, right? Because I had told myself that even if I changed, it wouldn't matter, right? It wouldn't be enough. I wouldn't save enough for it really to make a dent, right? All garbage. It's all not true. And so when I had this conversation with the young woman, I made her a bet. Because I know she was so money driven, I made her a bet. I said, I bet you a year from now, I hope you're listening. I'm not going to say who this is, but you'll know who this is. A year from now, I bet that you're in no different a place. I bet you $100. And you know what? I am happy, ecstatic to give you the $100 if you're in a different place. If you are further along than you are right now. You know what? A year later, we talked, and I owed her $100. It was just the push she needed at the right time to do the hard things. She had to couch surf on friends' couches. Not something that was very comfortable. She had to do things that were uncomfortable in order to get to where she wanted to be. And sometimes we have to do that. It was the best thing that ever happened to her. It was not pleasurable. It was not preferable. But it was necessary. Now, I had a conversation with someone the other day. Oh my good golly. This person, it costs them so much money to run their heat that they freeze every winter because they've told themselves they can't afford, which really boils down to I'm not worthy, which really boils down to I'm not enough. And it's the story over and over and over again. I'm not worthy of spending the money for the heat. I need it for other things. And yet the decisions to go and experience something that gave her personal growth and allowed her health to transform was important, and she was worthy of that. But for some reason, she didn't feel worthy of turning her heat on. Crazy. And she doesn't like where she lives, and yet she's still there years later. And why do we stay stuck? Why? 2 reasons. Number 1, we're fearful of the unknown not being any better than where we're at now, and we're comfort in our discomfort. We're comfort in the familiar, even though it's not what we want. It's very uncomfortable in the unfamiliar. So that's number 1. And number 2 is, what was it? It was the discomfort. Oh, and I lost what the second reason was, that we stay stuck in, brain fart. It'll come back to me. So the first one is fear. Fear and uncertainty is why we stay stuck. And telling ourselves that we're not worthy, and that, change is hard, or what if I spend that money on the heat and then I get sick and I need the money? What if I spend the money on the heat and then there's an emergency and I need the money for my car? What if, and none of these things might happen. Absolutely none of them. But you may get sick if you continue to freeze your ass every winter. Right? But we don't tell ourselves that story. We tell ourselves the story to keep us stuck at where we are, because it's safe, because it's familiar, because we have comfort in our discomfort, and not knowing what it's like moving forward is scary, is uncertain, is uncomfortable. Because I had a hiccup, let's call it a hiccup, in our finances years and years ago, because we struggled to right our ship, because I focused on every single penny, not dime, not dollar, but penny, on where I spent it and what it's being used for, and was it necessary, and was there a better way, and could it be done differently that would allow me to breathe a little easier and sleep a little easier. And I did it for like a decade. That mentality was really hard to break when I finally did get the ship righted, when I finally did get a moment to breathe and have a little bit of a cushion. And when I had the possibility to buy a first-class ticket on an airplane, I literally wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Even if it was overnight. Even if I had to sit in a place that I knew I would get no sleep. Even if it was on a plane that was a 12-hour flight overnight, which I knew I would be miserable and achy and horrible. But I still wouldn't spend the extra money for the first-class ticket, because what if I needed it? Well, that's not the best use of it. Well, I could invest it. Well, I could use it for this or that or the other. And really what it boiled down to was I didn't think that I was worthy of spending that money on me. I would spend it on a heartbeat on my husband. I'd spend it on a heartbeat on my dog. I'd spend it on a heartbeat on my kids. That I wouldn't spend it on me. And it's taken me a very long time. This has been the first year. And actually, my husband bought the ticket, and I started to argue with him. And then I was like, you be quiet. You be quiet. You deserve to fly first class, even if it's just this one time. And so the stories that I tell myself keep me stuck. The stories that you're telling yourself are keeping you stuck. Whether that's why you're stuck in a job you hate. Well, the market's really hard right now. It's not easy to get a job. Well, I'm lucky to have a job that pays me what I'm getting paid. Well, I hate my boss, but the benefits are really good, so I can't really afford to not go anywhere else. Well, I'm uncertain about my relationship, and I need to have an income that's stable, and so giving up this job would not give me a stable income at a time when my relationship's not stable. Well, you hear all the stories? All of them not true. Your next job could pay you more. Your next job could be even better. Your next job could have better benefits and a better boss and a better salary. Your next job could be work from home part-time. Your next job could allow you to meet the potential people that you need to start your own business. Your next job, but our minds are wired to look for the negative, to look for the worst, to look for the catastrophic and the traumatic. And when we look for them, we find them. We do, because that's how our reticular activating system works. And so the individual that I talked to this weekend, she was keeping herself stuck because, she has, children to think about. And what happens, if she were to just get up and move, well, the rents are so expensive and the home prices are so expensive and her income just doesn't make that much. Well, not where she is now, but maybe where she would move it would. And what happens if she got sick? She would have no family nearby to help with her children. And then how would her children get to school? Well, how do many children get to school with parents who don't have family nearby? I didn't have family nearby. How did they get to school? Either A, I got them there sick, or B, I made friends, or C, neighbors were kind enough to take them, or nowadays we've got Uber. For goodness gracious, we could call Uber. We could call somebody that could help them. Or you know what? They take a sick day too. It's not the end of the world. But thinking about all the catastrophic, horrible things that may possibly happen one day that may never happen keeps me and so many others stuck. And if I play that what if game, if I play what if I get sick, what if I don't have a job, what if I can't make ends meet, what if, all the catastrophe, all of the horrible things, I'm not playing the game the way it's supposed to be played. I'm only playing half. What happens if it was the best decision I ever made? What happens if it shows my children, in this case, my children, resilience and how to fulfill on your life's dreams and not just let them evaporate in the wind? What if it's the best decision I ever made? What if I make that decision and in this case, the person is single? What if I find the love of my life? What if I experience things that I never would have experienced that take me to a whole nother level of spirituality, of money, of relationships, of personal growth, of growth for my children and showing them a different way than freezing every winter? What am I teaching them then? Changing the stories that I tell myself allows me to change the life I live. I am courageous. I just pick and choose when to be courageous and brave, right? I'm not courageous all the time. And you might not be feeling courageous either. Maybe it's scary leaving your job to fulfill a dream in your heart. Maybe it's overwhelming to leave a relationship in order to preserve the relationship with yourself. Maybe it's the best thing you would have ever done. Maybe not even if you left that relationship. I'm not even talking spouse. It could be sibling. It could be a parent. It could be a child, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a spouse. But maybe distancing yourself from that relationship is the best thing that can be done and gives the space necessary for that relationship to really blossom and grow and become more than you would ever imagine. I can tell you from my own experience that has happened numerous times recently in my life. There are recent relationships in my life that I have fretted, I have lost sleep, I have had anxiety and stress, and it's going south. I don't want it to go south. How can I prevent it from disintegrating? I want more from this relationship. I don't like where it's at. I don't feel comfortable. I'm walking on eggshells. I want to be a priority. I don't feel like I'm a priority. So really, I'm holding on to what? What kind of relationship is that I don't really want anyway? Right? Maybe sharing what I do want, maybe speaking the elephant in the room, which is what I've done on multiple occasions. And let me tell you, I literally wanted to vomit and poop myself at the same time. Having those difficult conversations with a boss or a child or a sibling or a spouse or a friend or a parent, having those difficult conversations that are not easy, are not fun, are scary. I told myself for so long all the stories. Better to have a bad one than none at all. Told yourself that one. Better that they're in my life than not at all. Told yourself that one. Better that I not offend them so that they don't leave me. That they don't, I want them in my life in whatever capacity I can. Told myself that one. But do I? Do I really? Do I really want to feel like not a priority? Do I really want to feel like I'm giving it my all and nobody's doing that in return? What kind of relationship is that? Not one that I really want, really. And out of fear of losing the little thread that I was holding on to, I would not talk about it. I would not share my thoughts and my desires. And it was just a big old elephant in the room, and I'd walk around on eggshells. And I started having difficult conversations. And you know what happened? Surprisingly, not the worst case scenario. Not that little, Frida the fear that I tell you about that sits on my shoulder. You don't want to rock the boat, Aim. At least you can see them. At least they're in your life in some capacity. At least they talk to you sometimes. At least, right? At least you know where you're at. Accept it. Could be worse. Could be a ton worse. Right? Fear. Frida the fear sitting there yakking in my ear. But then one day I got brave. I got courageous. And I realized that I deserve, I want, and I deserve, and I am worthy of having a better relationship. And so I just said that. I said, there's ways to do it. There's ways to do it. And I'm happy to share those ways over our conversations. But having the difficult conversations are scary, are uncertain. But I will tell you that Frida and all of her pessimism is not how they turned out. And I lived in that fear and that anxiety and that stress for way longer than I needed to. And now what I do is I tell Frida, thank you for making that, pointing that out and making that obvious. Thank you. And I'm prepared for that. But the possibility and the probability of it being better is what I'm going for, is what I'm working toward, is my intention and my desire and my wish. And going into a conversation open-hearted, being vulnerable and sharing allowed me to get to that better place instead of manifesting and creating all the worst case scenarios. I hope that has helped you today on this mega marvelous, magical, magnificent Monday. And let me know in a comment below if this has helped you. And feel free to share this with someone who might need to hear this today. Maybe somebody else is feeling super stuck by the stories that they're telling themselves, by the thoughts that they're thinking that are not in their best interest and are keeping them stuck in a situation they don't want to be in. And I look forward to talking with you tomorrow. Sending you some sunshine and palm trees. All right. See ya.